Forget what you think you know about the All Blacks midfield, because right now a quiet storm is brewing in the south. While all the headlines are dominated by Jordie Barrett, one man is making an undeniable case: David Havili. He's not the loudest, he's not the flashiest, but when it comes to skill, leadership and consistency, Havili might just be an All Blacks best option at number 12. And if you've overlooked him, it's time to take a serious second look. This season, he's not just performing, he's leading. As Crusaders captain, Havili has taken a struggling team and turned them into one of the most cohesive squads in the 2025 Super Rugby campaign. Despite an injury-plagued 2024 season, Havili returned with force, showing why the All Blacks selectors have locked him in through to 2027. Let's look at the facts. This year alone, Havili has clocked over 750 minutes across Super Rugby Pacific. He's averaging over 10 carries a game, has a tackle completion rate north of 85%, and has created 6 line breaks in his last 5 matches. But it's not just stats, it's the feel. The game slows down when he's on the ball. He reads space like a fly half, defends like a loose forward, and communicates like a general. Jordie Barrett, on the other hand, is a physical freak. No one's denying that. But ask yourself, does he have the Havili subtleties? Barrett brings power and size, but Havili brings shape and calm. In matches that require structure and quick adjustments, Havili is often the more composed presence. And that's exactly what the Crusaders needed this year. With Scott Robertson now coaching the All Blacks, Havili's leadership under the new Crusaders coach Rob Penny has been critical. From guiding younger players like Taha Kimura and Macca Springer to making high-pressure decisions in final minutes of tight games, Havili has shown he's more than just a skillful midfielder. He's a game manager. It's easy to forget, but Havili's international career hasn't been straightforward. First capped in 2017, he was then dropped for 3 years. He fought his way back in 2021, reinventing himself from a utility back into a reliable second 5'8". Since then, he's been part of the All Blacks' biggest tests against Ireland, South Africa and England. In his 25 test matches, Havili has averaged nearly 8 tackles a game, with a missed tackle rate under 10%. That's elite, especially considering many of those matches came against Tier 1 opposition. He's not just holding his spot, he's thriving in it. But here's what makes the conversation around Havili so interesting. In the last Rugby World Cup, he was barely featured. Injuries and tactical shifts pushed him to the sidelines, while Jordie Barrett cemented himself as the starting number 12. But with Barrett often rotated between fullback and midfield, and the All Blacks attacking structures evolving under Robinson, the door is wide open. That's why Havili re-signing with New Zealand Rugby until 2027 is such a big deal. He could have gone offshore. He had offers, but he's chosen to stay. And that's his statement. He wants that black jersey again. Not as cover, but as a starter. His loyalty to the Crusaders also tells you something deeper. He's not chasing cash or glamour. He's chasing legacy. And that mentality fits perfectly with the All Blacks culture. Every time he's worn that jersey, he's done it with discipline, humility and class. Look at the midfield combinations leading into the 2007 Rugby World Cup. Barrett is the front runner, yes, but who partners him? Anton Leonard-Brown is still battling injuries. Riku Ioane is electric, but might return to the wing. Then there's the new crop, Billy Proctor, Dallas McLeod, and Levi Amour. They're raw, exciting, sure, but not tested. That's where Havili's value skyrockets. He's the bridge between generations. Experienced enough to lead, fit enough to compete, and smart enough to adapt. Robinson knows this. He's coached Havili for almost a decade. He knows what Havili brings, not just in skill, but in tangibles. Even opposing players respect him. In previous matches between the Crusaders and Hurricanes, Jordie Barrett himself said Havili was one of the toughest midfielders to read. He makes the right decisions under pressure, and that's what you want in a number 12. You can't ignore a quote like that. And if you still think it's just hype, look at the Crusaders' 2025 turnaround. From a rocky start to now sitting in the top 4, Havili has been central to that shift. Whether it's kicking out of danger, organising the defence line, or threading passes between defenders, he's playing some of his best rugby of his life. You could argue this version of Havili is better than the one we saw in 2021. Back then, he was sharper but less authoritative. Now, he's combining tactical brilliance with true leadership. The kind of presence the All Blacks desperately need in a high-pressure situation. And here's a twist most people haven't considered. What if Barrett moves back to fullback? That would leave a glaring hole at number 12. Havili steps in, you maintain Barrett's backfield control, and suddenly you've got a backline with balance. A midfield with Havili at 12 and Rico at 13 is explosive yet experienced. It might be the best blend heading into 2027. When you line up the numbers, the performances, and the trajectory, the argument becomes very real. Havili is not just an option, he might be the best option. The All Blacks don't need hype right now, they need clarity. They need players who have faced adversity, fought their way back, and stayed loyal to the jersey. David Havili ticks every one of those boxes. From a Nelson College kid to the Crusaders captain, from fringe utility to midfield general, from overlooked to undeniable, his story isn't finished, and in many ways it's just hitting its peak. In 2025, Havili isn't just playing like a test level 12. He's playing like a man with unfinished business. And that chip on his shoulder is what's driving him. Every offload, every line break, every crucial tackle. He's doing it to prove a point. Not just to fans, not just to selectors, but to himself. That he belongs in that jersey, that he's earned it. There's a rare type of player who makes everyone around them better. Havili fits that mould. The Crusaders' backs don't just follow him because he has the armband. They follow him because he earns their respect every week. He's the glue that holds them together. He covers the holes that others miss. He plays unselfish, clever, and world-class. And he's doing it all in one of the toughest positions on the field. Inside centre is a brutal role. You're a second playmaker, a defensive wall, and often a battering ram. Few players can handle all three. Few will still do it with Havili's polish and poise. Just watch his off-the-ball movement. He never switches off. He's constantly scanning, communicating, and adjusting the defensive shape. When the ball does come to him, he already knows where the space is. It's not reactive, it's surgical. This is the kind of rugby brain that wins test matches. Havili is not the flavour of the month, he's not trending, but he's essential. He's the kind of player you want when the lights are bright, the margins are thin, and the pressure is sky high. The kind of player who doesn't panic, who makes the pass, makes the read, makes the hit when it matters most. So next time you're watching the All Blacks and wondering who really deserves to wear that number 12 jersey, take a longer look at the man who does the little things right. The one who's been building patiently for this exact moment. David Havili isn't just making a comeback, he's staking a claim. And if you're still on the fence about whether he should be starting in 2027, well, you might want to start paying closer attention now. Because if form, leadership and loyalty still matter in New Zealand rugby, then the jersey at number 12 should be his to lose. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more deep dives, rugby debates and all the latest from the world of All Blacks. There's plenty more to come. Thanks guys.